my opponent's leg, right, on this side of my body. Okay, so opponent's legs on this side of the body. Where we were just working at, we were working the foot locks on this side of the body. Now we're talking about the leg being on the opposite side of the body, all right? Yeah, on the opposite side of the body. This is what we consider the 50-50 position. Now we got to remember, when we're in 50-50, the reason why they call it 50-50 is because he has equal opportunity and access to my feet as I do to his, all right? So we need to be aware of that, and we need to be aware of what we're doing with that. All right, that's somewhere around where you can see a little better. All right, so we're talking about leg locking in the 50-50 position. We're going to be doing the exact same aesthetics that we were doing before, okay? So when I get my hand in, it's coming right up underneath the leg. I'm grabbing my gi, right? But I want to turn my hips and my knees the opposite direction, right? And I want to be able to squeeze. So having my feet and hips just like we were having our feet and hips before, but when I'm in 50-50, I want to keep my body and everything up. I'm not going to go down on my head and shoulder on this one. I'm going to keep everything nice and tight in my body like we were before, except for I'm going to stay up on my elbow, okay? I'm going to squeeze my knees real tight, right? And then I'm just going to look backwards like this to get the foot lock, all right? I want to concentrate whenever I've got these foot lock, guys, on making sure that those toes are covered, right? If his foot is there, right, and I do this foot lock, and his foot's out the back, I'm not saying that I can't finish it, but I have to really go back a lot farther than I do if I've got those toes covered. So whenever you're setting up these foot locks, really concentrate on engulfing the toes with your armpit, all right? Once I've got that in there, and I grab my gi just like we grabbed on the other foot locks, I'm going to turn around and choke the other direction as well. I want to make sure that my feet are here, I squeeze my knees, and I look back and twist in that direction, okay? There you go. I'm going to rotate that this way. I'm going to grab. Okay? So, let's talk about foot protection because he's got equal opportunity to grab my feet. All right? So, if my feet, if my feet are in the hips still, right, and I'm in that 50-50 position, right, I have at least the best opportunity to protect them because if he's trying to pull them off and everything, I've got something to kind of push against to give me a little bit of a base, right? So if you can keep those feet in the hips like we've been doing, that's fine. So I've set up my foot lock, I've got my feet in the hips, I go to attack, and my feet are in those positions, okay? So my knees squeeze tight, right? My elbow closes so that those toes disappear underneath my armpit, and I'm gonna look back in this direction until I get my foot lock, okay? That's where we're gonna get this foot lock in the 50-50. So the difference being here versus here, okay? All right? Now when you're doing the foot lock in the 50-50 position, the turn, because we're not doing this, leaning back, all right, because we'll lose it, it rotates the foot inside of my armpit. That's the reason why we're staying up on the elbow. When I drive here, I'm driving my hips forward and then in, around the corner like that. You see what I'm saying? So the direction is like this and like that in order to put the pressure that I want on the foot. That foot's got to stay covered in the armpit. That's the reason why I don't drop down on this one. Because the foot turns and I start to lose it if I'm turning back that direction. Okay?
You're grabbing the same side of your gi.
Same side of the belt. Yep. Same side of the belt. Look, if I grab over here, right, it's going to prevent my head from being able to turn. I don't want to prevent my head from being able to turn, okay? I just want this as a grip on his foot, okay? This is staying nice and tight, the knees are staying tight, and then we're twisting, okay? Now, he's gonna be fighting your feet. So we were talking about this earlier. The best way for me to protect my feet is make sure that this bottom foot is on top of the other foot when I first get started, all right? So he's gonna go to attack my feet, and at that point, I can start to place my feet in the hips. If I'm here and this foot is on top, it's going to be super simple for him to start attacking my foot as well. Now we're in the fight to who can last the longest or defend the longest, all right? So we can get this, if we hit this 50-50 position, we can get this foot lock, right, without even having the full grip, all right? So I'm going to show you two different versions of it, right? So the one version, I've got my hand in and I've got my foot locked, right? My feet are in the hips, right? I've turned make my partner stay down on his side, and I'm able to finish it this way, okay? But we can also finish this thing if we're laying in the 50-50 just right here, right? We're playing with different versions of this to figure out what's the best one, right? I've seen guys show, they grab right here and they lean back, which this will all work, right? I can grab behind my thigh and lean back, but the problem is he's gonna want to grab my arm to relieve that pressure. Okay, so if I reach down here, he's gonna grab my arm. If I reach down here, he's still gonna be able to grab my arm, right? The best way to finish it here without having to get up under his foot, right? If I can't have the room to get up under his foot, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a fingertip grip right here on the edge of his pant leg, right? And now, if he reaches up there and grabs my arm, he's pulling against my leg. See that? So, same finish. My elbow's gonna squeeze nice and tight. I've got that fingertip grip on the pant leg right there, all right? And now he can't pull my arm out. I'm good, all right? So from here, I can finish the foot lock, all right? That's without my hand underneath. So there's nothing wrong with once I get into the 50-50 position to go ahead and try to finish it here, right? Absolutely nothing wrong. Let's turn this way a little bit so everybody can see over here. Okay, so we land in the 50-50 position. I wanna make sure that my feet are covered, right? So he goes to grab my foot, I put both feet in the hips. My elbow covers the ankle. That's the key to this foot lock being super tight, is I want my elbow to make sure that it's covering the ankle. I'm gonna reach up here, I'm gonna get my fingertip grip on the pant leg to really secure the leg in there. All right, once I've got everything tight, my elbow's squeezed nice and tight, I'm gonna lean back and get that foot lock, okay? So that's the version without your hand in. Because a lot of times when you drop in the 50-50 and you're playing the leg game, sometimes you're not going to be able to get that hand in underneath. And if I loosen whatsoever to get my hand in, right, that's going to be the opportunity for him to start pulling his legs out and escape. So if you find yourself in the 50-50 position, you can try to finish it without getting your hand underneath. Okay, so we're here, one more time. All right, both feet in the hips, my elbow covering the ankle, fingertip grip so that I can hold on to that leg. I'm going to squeeze both knees, and I'm just going to look backwards in that direction, stand up on my elbow. Okay?
That elbow down too a little bit.
Squeezing to the rib cage. Make sure we squeeze to the rib cage. Everybody got it? All right, so we're gonna play with it here. Also play with your original one. Make sure that you get your hand in, and we're gonna do that on 3. Let's do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so we're starting in closed guard position. All right. In order for me to get into the 50-50, I'm gonna have to get up underneath my partner's legs, right? So I'm gonna need to move him up, all right? So as I pull my knees to my chest and elevate here, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be dropping this knee down. So I'm gonna hold onto his leg here, hip out, I'm gonna drop this knee down, I'm gonna pull this knee back across. Okay, so this is the position that we're in. I'm gonna now grasp with both hands and hold this to my chest, all right? So as I start to drive, I'm gonna rotate this leg around his body, and I'm gonna throw it over here, and if he doesn't do anything about this, I have a knee bar right here, right? So I can pass this over, I can start going for a knee bar. So white belts, obviously, you're not allowed a knee bar, blue belts either. So I can't even attempt to finish this knee bar, but this is gonna make him react in a way to where we're gonna wind up in the 50-50 position, where he sits down, and we wind up in the 50-50 position. The big part is dropping the knee in so that you can pass the leg over, okay? So once I get him up here, look, that knee's gotta pass out, right? So my foot stays downwards to the hip, right? And now I grab this with both hands. This leg comes out and passes over to the butt. Now, I'm gonna pass this leg behind my armpit, right? This is where I said I'm in a knee bar. Now, I'm allowed to finish these in a competition, you guys are not. So we're gonna go ahead and work on the other person's gonna pass and drop safely into that position there. All right, now in order for me to be in 50-50, right? So we're here, and we're already in the position. So I can start into my leg locks directly from here, right? What we're going for. I didn't have to that time, no. We wound up dropping in it because of the way he rotated. All right? So watch this outside knee. That's the key to it. Okay. So a lot of times when we're at, right, this knee's gonna drop. Okay. So I have to do it hip out. So we're there. I drive in that direction. I hip out so that knee faces down. and this foot stays in that position. As I do that, this leg comes over, right? I pass this over, and I put it underneath my arm right here, okay? So that's the knee bar position. He's gonna sit out to protect himself, and we're gonna wind up here in the 50-50 position, okay? He's gonna have equal opportunity. Remember, the guy that gets his knees to the ground first is the one that's gonna get the opportunity to do the foot locks. So if you're the aggressor, making sure you're the one that's turning that knee down and attacking from there. You ready to see that again?
Yes.
Okay, one more time. Okay, so I want to go underneath my partner's leg. If I'm in closed guard, pull them, I drive them, and then this knee has got to drop out. Okay, that's the knee, and then this foot's got to cover the hip. All right, so now this foot's going to come out. I'm tied into the leg, pass it into the. Okay, this is where I'm at. I'm going to attack a knee bar from here, but if I'm white belt, blue belt, I know I can't attack the knee bar from here, so I'm going to start scooting, and then dropping into the position to attack the leg.
You're scooting away to flatten him out?
Under. Okay, you'll have to scoot around the leg, because if you're a blue belt, you can't finish the knee bar in the competition, but you can utilize this position to set it up, okay?